Hey there, everyone. It's Friday here, and it's a little dreary outside. Not much sunshine happening. It actually had been raining yesterday and this morning, which I usually do not complain about because our grass, flowers, crops, they need rain, and I also see it as a sign of a refreshing and a renewing. So I actually enjoy the rain. It does hinder exercise, but sometimes I also can see that as a way for your body to possibly rest. And so anyway, I just wanted to come and give you a quick word of encouragement today. So many people right now, we need encouragement. Y'all reach out and check on people. Send them a text, call them, send a card, do something to reach out to people and let them know they're not alone, and that they're being thought about. You just don't even know how much that can mean to someone, that it might can give them that little bit of hope, that maybe they was about to just let go, but it might give them that little bit of hope to keep putting that foot one in front of the other. So y'all do that. I don't want to say challenge or whatever, but I ask you right now, if you are watching this video, and just hit pause for a second and go find someone. I'm sure someone popped up in your mind right then, or think about it for just a second and go reach out to them. I know that they will be blessed. So let me get back. We are actually on chapter 9 in our book, Acres of Diamonds. We are moving right along, which I don't know. I've made a lot of videos, so it takes time to go through a really big chapter book like this, especially when you set it into subparticles and make the videos a little bit shorter. But this is actually talking about our workplace, which I loved because so many of us do work out in the marketplace. And if you do work, usually that is the majority of your life, is where you are at work. And so it's so important of how you think on your workplace. But he was talking about this couple that this is Jentezen Franklin, the author. He had met back in years ago, and his name was Brian. I'm going to say that, but he was he had always wanted a business, of his own, and there was this man that happened to own a construction company, and he actually sought Brian out and said, I want to sell you my company. Brian did not have much money at the time, but he seen an opportunity. And he had always wanted to own tractors and bulldozers. That had been a dream of his for some reason. And he always trusted God that it would happen. And let me say, if you have a dream that has been placed in you like that, believe God for it. Even if it doesn't seem imaginable, believe God for it. But anyway, Brian and his wife, they made a lot of sacrifices for the business, as most people do. When you start a business or when you acquire a business, you are going to put everything in it to try to make it successful. They had to move to a different part of town. They moved into Susan's parents' house. They sold their furniture. They budgeted. I mean, they were doing everything they can for this business. And at that time, they got plugged into their local church, which happened to be Jentezen's church, Free Chapel. And, they got planted there, and they started, growing there and getting involved. Well, during this time, his business grew, and it grew really fast. It got to the point where it had grown to where they were going to have to really invest in it, a large amount of money to kind of go to that next level. And it's something that he didn't have. But he was very good at what he did. and it made his company successful and very well known. He could sell and move tractors and bulldozers, and it caught the attention of a major company, a major supplier. An executive from this company noticed how valuable Brian was in this industry. He was so impressed that he offered him a very lucrative salary and benefit package to get him to work for him. And it was very tempting. It included a 10-year contract with a salary 3 times that he made. And it would provide job stability. It would secure, a comfortable financial position for his family. And he'd had children. There was a family of 6 now. But of course, it came at a price. He would have to uproot and move to another state. There would be international travel, so he would not be able to spend time with his family that he's used to. Usually they're eating dinner every night. So they would also get disconnected from the church home that they just planted in and has, grown in. And they talked about this and prayed about this and fasted for this decision that they had to make. A lot of people, if you don't watch, something will come along that is so grand, so wow. And in a quick second, you'll think, wow, God, look at you. But you need to pause, because not all things are meant for you to go through, for that door to open. Not all things are that. You'll get opportunities, but you have got to pause and pray and fast and get an answer from God before you go running into something that looks obvious, but it may not be it may not be greener on the other side. But they wrestled with the decision, so they started to pray and fast. He lay awake many nights trying to, pros and cons of if I should go, not go. But ultimately, he felt he needed to stay put. In fact, he felt God speak to him in his heart. Don't sell your business. Don't move and go work for him. I have bigger plans for you. So he declined the generous offer. He and his wife made the leap and decided to grow where they were. They made more sacrifices, but over time it paid off. The reputation of his company spread like wildfire and resulted in tremendous growth and a substantial increase in his profit. In saying no to that amazing offer, Brian is now providing jobs to thousands of men and women and making more money than if he had said yes. So see, God, because he listened to God and he stayed where he was, where his diamonds were, God made it better than that opportunity that looked so wild. It looked like diamonds on the surface, but it could have been bait to move him away from the acres of diamonds that God had for him. When God calls us to stay in a certain place, particularly in the workplace, we often do not know why at first, nor do we know how everything is going to pan out. One thing is certain, there is a purpose in where he has called you. Sometimes what looks like a better job or a better position can pull you away from the acres of diamonds God has for you where you are planted. He could have said yes to something that shined with brilliance on the surface, but he chose to trust God instead and stay where he was. Now they're still planted at the church. They're, on some of the committees and boards, and they're flourishing. When God has you where he's at, you will flourish and he will use you there. You want to never trade influence with people for money. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 22:1, choose a good reputation over great riches. Being held in high esteem is better than silver or gold. You have to always keep that in mind when you make a decision. Because you can make money in different places. You can go to another place for, a quarter more, 50 cents more, sometimes even way more. But sometimes money is not everything. You have to pray about these decisions. So I don't know if you love your job or if you really despise it, but know that you're there for a reason. Your workplace is your place of influence, and that's huge. That is huge. A lot of people think, you have to, be at a church or be doing something, at a church event for you to be doing outreach. No. Where you work is your ministry. It's your field. Even if you cannot see it, it is a field full of diamonds. This truth may be hard to realize if you feel you're stuck in a job in which you're underpaid or undervalued or unnoticed. But I want to encourage you. Do not minimize the influence you have over your employees, if you're a supervisor, over your coworkers, if you're working with coworkers, or over your team. Don't minimize your influence. You have influence with people that a preacher behind a pulpit could never have or never reach. It's only going to happen when every follower of Christ, every Christian, uses his or her influence wherever they're planted to make an impact for God. Your influence is important, and you definitely have an influence. Never not believe that. Where you work at, where you're planted at, people see you. They're watching you. You may be the only Bible they ever read or ever see. Be a witness to them. Live godly. Show God's characteristics, kindness and love and compassion, mentoring. Show what God would do and let them be uplifted. It will change the atmosphere in your workplace. So I want to encourage you. Wherever you are, you have an influence. I love y'all. I'm praying for y'all, especially the people that have COVID and that's dealing with it. I pray healing in the name of Jesus. Healing in the name of Jesus. All right. Y'all be safe, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.